and welcome to today's edition of the News in Brief. In the headlines, Supreme Court affirms Akufo-Addo as validly elected president and dismisses John Mahama's election petition. Mahama reacts to the verdict. Man collapses and dies at court clinic after Supreme Court verdict. And Parliament approves 13 ministerial nominees. News in Brief is brought to you by
Graphic Communication is giving you the opportunity to have news not only in hard copy but also in a digital form. Download your Graphic News Plus now and choose your preferred package daily, weekly, monthly, and annually, and access free news on various interest areas as well. Graphic News Plus, connecting people through news.
And now the details. The Supreme Court today came out with its verdict on the 2020 presidential election petition and unanimously affirmed Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as the validly elected president. The court said the figures declared by the Electoral Commission indicated Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo obtained more than 50% of the valid votes cast.
Dismissing Mr. Mahama's petition, the Supreme Court said it lacked merit and that there is no reason to order a rerun, which was one of the released by Mr. Mahama.
We conclude this judgment by emphasizing that the petitioner did not demonstrate in any way how the alleged errors and unilateral corrections made by the first respondent affected the validity of the declaration made by the chairperson of the first respondent on the 9th December 2020, as already stated in this judgment. The petitioner has not produced any evidence to rebut the presumption created by the publication of CI 135, for which his action must fail. We have therefore no reason to order a rerun as prayed by the petitioner as in relief F. We accordingly dismiss the petition as having no merit.
Mr. Mahama, in his reaction after the verdict, had this to say.
Much as I'm aware that we are legally bound by the decision of the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court of Ghana, I disagree with the process of the trial and the ruling of the court. For the avoidance of that, I say, much as I'm aware that we are legally bound by the decisions of the Supreme Court, I disagree with the process of the trial and the ruling of the court. Ladies and gentlemen, our 1992 Constitution says very directly in Article 125, Section 1, that justice emanates from the people and shall be administered in the name of the Republic by the judiciary, which shall be independent and subject only to this Constitution. I believe that law should not be an instrument for partisan purposes. I also believe that the rule of law should mean one rule for all. What anchors the rule of law is equality and fairness to all, irrespective of creed, background, or political coloration. Justice, we must remember, is rooted in moral foundations.
The Supreme Court verdict also touched on the testimonies given by Mr. Johnson Esiedun Ketia, Dr. Michael Kwesa-White, and Rojo Metununu for the petitioner.
Out of these three witnesses, the one whose testimony appeared to have some relevance to the issues at stake was Mr. Johnson Esiedun Ketia, PW1. He was, in fact, the star witness of the petitioner. His testimony vividly explained the reasons why the petitioner is in court. As for the other two witnesses, that is PW2 and 3, Dr. Kwesa-White and Mr. Robert Joseph Metununu, the little said about their testimonies relative to the issue at stake, the better. PW2 and PW3 were agents who represented petitioner. The petitioner in the National Collation Center dubbed the Strong Room. Their testimonies were based mainly on what allegedly happened in the Strong Room during the final collation and the fact that they failed to sign the final form of the presidential election scored from 13 because of disagreements they said they had with the chairperson of first respondent and her staff in the Strong Room. They recounted a fanciful tale of how the chairperson refused to heed their complaints on some irregularities they noticed in some of the collation forms that came from some of the regions. We describe this evidence as fanciful because that's why these alleged protests, they went ahead to verify and certify 13 out of the 16 election regional coalition seats. Their testimony included an account of how the chairperson of the first respondent managed to trick them to leave the strong room by sending them on an errand to confer with the petitioner, during which period he declared the result of the presidential election without their participation.
Spokesperson for President Akufo-Addo also reacted to the verdict.
The Lord Justices of the Supreme Court have spoken. We entreat all Ghanaians to abide by the decision of our highest court of the land. We thank our good friends on the other side for their bravery in mounting this petition, albeit we all found that the petition indeed contained nothing but factual errors and inaccuracies. Those were in the words of the court, not mine. Litigation must always come to an end. We want to believe that this is the end of the 2013-2020 election petition.
And now to Parliament. 13 ministerial nominees have been approved by the House. 10 nominees were approved by consensus, while 3 were approved by a majority vote.
The vote was cast after an extensive debate on the recommendations made by the Appointment Committee of Parliament Thursday dawn. Those who were approved via voting per majority decision were Mavis Hawakumsin for Fisheries and Agriculture, Kojo Ponkroma for Information, and Dr. Usuefri Akoto for Food and Agriculture, who were initially rejected by the NDC caucus in Parliament. The 10 who were approved by the consensus were Albert Kandapa for National Security, Dominic Nitiwu for Defense, Sheila Yokobuchi for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum for Education, Osei Cheyman Sabunsu for Parliamentary Affairs, Matthew Opoku Prempeh for Energy, Dan Butchie for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, Ambrose Derry for Interior, Ignatius Bafuiwa for Employment and Labour Relations, and Sarah Joasafu for Gender, Children and Social Protection.
And lastly, there was a sad incident at the Supreme Court Thursday afternoon as a man identified only as Alex collapsed and was pronounced dead at the court clinic.
The police confirmed to Graphic Online that a man known to be one of the porters, otherwise known as Goro Boys, who normally hang around the court premises, collapsed and was sent to the court clinic with assistance from staff of the Judicial Service. He was, however, later pronounced dead, and the police carried his remains to the morgue. The incident happened moments after the Supreme Court came out with the verdicts on the 2020 presidential election petition.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow with another edition. Stay safe and protect yourself from COVID-19. For more news, visit graphic.com.gh or log on to Facebook at Daily Graphic and on YouTube at Graphic GH. I am Ama Amankwa Befi.